Hello, it's me. So, when does a puzzle solving experience become an expression of insanity? When is the difficulty just way out of hand? Well, this is Hex's Ghost 3x5x7 Ultimate Shapeshifter. So it's like this guy, but in ghost form. And what he did is he basically took it like this, and then sliced it down to make it look like this. What that means is that in order to make the same movements as an ultimate shapeshifter, a 3x5x7 can shapeshift in all different directions, but you're causing variable bandaging as you're doing that. But because he made it look like this, then sliced it and turned it into this, in order to scramble it, I can turn this part quite easily. As you can see, I can turn this part, which is equivalent to this move and this move. However, I can't do the other moves until I rotate it oh so slightly like this. And the fact that it's all a shape issue, just like with the mirror or the bump 3x5x7, it's challenging, but now I can't move it until I move it like this. Now once I do that, I can very freely move it in this direction. I can move it in any direction that I want, including these directions over here. But as you can see, just that one little change turns this into a catastrophe of solvability. So the question is, even though I know how to solve a 3x5x7, this is the 3x5x7 supercube. So I've always relied upon the equivalency of a lot of these pieces in order to do sliding U techniques. But as I look over here, there's no equivalencies. They all have very specific places that they have to go. Will that specificity cause issues? So with shaking hands, I feel that I am compelled to go ahead and scramble this and give this a try, give this a solve. That the fact that it's a ghost cube really lends to it a degree of difficulty that is just crazy. So in order to solve this, the way that I solve most ghost cubes is I look at the side that is not ghosted. And if I start off with that, then that might be a good signpost. But as I'm solving it, I'm going to have gaps between the layers because I start off with a 3x3 solve. So I'm going to look at this and see if I can just kind of study it a little bit and make sure that it's going to make sense as I'm solving it. The corners are going to guide me. So to solve it, I'd have to do a 3x3 solve where I'm going to do this first and then this, and then see if I can't fill in the gaps. Well, there's nothing more to say, but let's just do it. So the first thing that I do with the 3x5x7 scramble is I do 180-degree scrambles. So that would be if I were to take this, and the reason why I do it this way is because I don't want to bandage any pieces yet. By bandaging, what that means is I'm blocking the movement of certain pieces. Right now, every layer can move, if you notice. If I turn here and I turn here. However, if I go like this and I move this, this is bandaged, this is blocked, so I can't scramble that any further. So that's why I like to keep separating this out here and do 180-degree scrambles until I have something that, you know, looks like the pieces are fairly separate from each other and nothing is too associated with each other. Let's go like this. Okay, so I'm going to start off with that. Start off with 180-degree scrambles. I have it fully in ghost position. And I'm going to double turn here, here. Now I'm reaching the point of no return. I could just stop what I'm doing, but nah, why get puzzles if you can't solve them? Okay, so you can see that already I'm fairly hopeless, because even though this is a 180-degree scramble and it's not shape-shifted, and this is not shape-shifted, now I have shape-shifting. And that's the thing about a ghost, is shape-shifting is an issue. Now, right now you see how smooth the puzzle is moving. And it does move smooth. But bear something in mind, this is a modification, which means that it has a lot of pieces that have been added onto it. And that can snag a lot. Now, I'm looking at the organization of this puzzle, and this is going to serve me well, because sometimes it's only going to be the inherent knowledge of the organization of this puzzle that's going to see me through certain moves. Otherwise, I'm going to be lost in the woods. Okay, now notice something. I have to look at the intrinsic organization here. Notice that I have a single layer of centers here and here. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. I got a 5 by 3 by 5 center over here. Now some of these edges, before they get to the center, this edge is 1 in to the center. This edge is right across the center. Whereas this edge is 1, 2 pieces before you get to the center, and this is right across the center as well. So too, that's going to guide me. So this center here is equivalent to this. And this over here is equivalent to this, because it's just 1 across, and this across as well. So I need to identify what edges go where. Here it's easy. I can tell by the shape, I can tell by the color. Here, I can tell by nothing. The only thing I can tell by is how close the edges are to the center. So this edge approximates just right on top of the center area, whereas this has 1 before it gets to the center. This has 2 before it gets to the center. And this has 1 before it gets to the center. So there is a little bit of teasing out that I can do with these edge pieces based upon the proximities to the center. And I'm afraid that's all I got. I can't use color, I can't use shape. I can't even use shape when I have it nearly solved because it's ghosted. And because it's ghosted, the shape is going to be deceptive. I can't even use edges close to each other or that line up because edges are not going to line up being a ghost, right? So this takes among the more difficult of kinds of puzzles, which are ultimate shapeshifters, and then adds that degree of difficulty of being lost in the woods, like with a ghost. So in other words, these edges here, they're not going to line up. And they're not going to line up because they're ghosted. Here, when I look at it, these edges can line up, but here I'm not going to know. The only thing I'm going to know is how close it is to the center. I hope that makes sense. But basically, when solving it, I'll know when this edge belongs here or this belongs here. In this case, I'll have no idea. I'll have no idea if this is here, if it belongs there. All I can do is look to see its affiliation with the center. This is right against the center. This is 2 off from the center, so I know it's going to be here. It's just purely going to be that's going to guide me. Alright, the saving grace right now is the fact that you can see the movement is incredibly smooth, and Hex has always designed great puzzles, but there is going to be some alignment issues. And because these are glued on pieces, I anticipate some of them might pop off. If that happens, I'm really sunk, because how do I know how to put it back on again? So there's a lot of peril to this puzzle. And when scrambling it like this, it may be impossible for me to get it back if pieces pop or if there's any issues there. But right now I've gone past the point of no return, and I've decided that whether I solve this or not, I will be posting this video. So just because you're seeing it posted is not a guarantee that I've actually solved it. So you and me, us, we're going through this journey together, and we'll see where it takes us. What is it about being a supercube that might lend this a difference? Will my algorithms still work, or will they have to be changed in any way? Well, I got some sneaking suspicions, but there's no way for me to know. Okay, so let's move this away from each other. There we go. Okay, so in scrambling this puzzle, I have a nice 180-degree scramble. And perhaps what I should do is just solve it like this, just to get myself prepared for it. Actually, do some more scrambles. And, nah, let's not do it that way. Move these away from each other like so. Move this like thus. Okay, the next way to scramble it is, I'm going to make it even more simple. So the next thing that I would do is I would just move one of these layers up, because once I do that, once I start doing more scrambles or more moves, I won't be able to separate that out. Then I'll maybe go like this, do some more moves like so, and then after doing that, I'll do like a turn like this, and then I'll start moving it across in this direction. So then I'm going to do these kind of scrambles, which are kind of brick scrambles, like so. Just across like that. Until I have these guys teased out. But you can see that as I'm doing this, I'm bandaging it even more here. Just turning it across like this. So that's the kind of scramble I'm going to do next. So if I were to correlate that, then holding it like so, I just move this guy up like thus. Now at this point I would have no way of knowing what I just did. It looks the same, doesn't it? The only difference is that I can see this edge here has 2 in, and that's the complicated part about this. But I'm gonna reflect that same scramble. After having done that, I can tell this center is different. But now I'm just going to go like that. And I'm going to start doing this kind of a scramble, like here. And although conceptually I know what I'm doing, it might not seem like it's much different in terms of the scramble. The look doesn't look much different, does it? Go like so. However, here you can see it's getting more shape-shifted. Here, it just looks pretty much the same. So I'm just going to keep turning this. It limits my bandaging as much as possible. And I guess I'll turn maybe this twice here. But we're also starting to snag a little bit, and that's not a fault of the puzzle. It's just how it works out with these pieces. This will come here, and I'm going to move it carefully because I don't want to cause any pieces to get dislodged. Okay, so this will move here, so that's good. That's kind of an unbandaged area. I think we can move this across here, across here. I'm going to do some, actually these are lined up accidentally, so across here. So pretty soon I'm going to lose track of what goes where. Now in terms of alignment, before I move I have to make sure my centers are aligned, but I still have these centers that are okay. Move this over here. Okay, we're going to move this over here. I'm so nervous. I think I just did a middle move here. Okay, like so. And I'm just going to keep moving like that. Yeah, okay. I thought I accidentally made a move that I wasn't ready to make yet. This will move here. I'll separate these guys out. So you can see my centers are still aligned, which is how I'm able to make these movements. And I'm just going to keep going with this. 1, 2. These edges are no longer lined up, but it's hard for me to say. The centers are still doing okay. Are you able to move? Let me see. I want to force nothing. 1, 2. This will go here. I'm going to move this like so. And I'm going to move these guys here too, like thus. Okay, is that good? I don't know. It looks like it's okay. I mean, it looks like things are scrambled really nicely here. What I'm doing is I'm combining edges together, and I think I'm kind of doing that because I see this edge doesn't belong with these guys. Do all of these edges belong together? And they kind of do. So I may want to bear that in mind and maybe move this like so. So I'm trying to enhance this scramble as much as I can. So this edge does not belong with these guys. So I know that this is not right. These edges here, do they belong together? No, they don't. So I think we're okay. I think we're good. Because now the next part of the scramble is I just do my highest bandage scramble yet, and now I'm just moving this as a 3x3. It's going to be useful for me to use a normal 3x5x7 as a perspective gainer with this, because otherwise it just might be hopeless. Okay, so this is fully scrambled. And now we're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to do whatever last vestige of... There we go. And now I'm just going to start making 90-degree maneuvers, 90-degree turns. So scary. So this is basically a 3x3 scramble that I'm doing right now. And now the centers are not going to guide me much. So I got to be very careful in terms of alignment. If I start to push something too much, I might set something off. Okay, so this moves here. Once it's aligned, movement is really good. But I'm just going to continue with really a 3x3 scramble. My hands are shaking. And this is just to give it that extra bit of who knows what the heck's going on kind of a appeal to it. But the 3x3 scramble does orient me in terms of where the centers are, where they're supposed to be. And as always, I'm really amazed at how well this moves. This could be so much more of a problem. Oh, I had a interesting bit of non-bandaging happening there. Okay, so if ever there is a reason to get it into cubing because of the challenge, this is it. So here it is, a fully scrambled 3x5x7 ultimate shapeshifter ghost cube compared to this. And now the question is, how do I start this whole process? Where do I even begin?